What is behaviorism? Behaviorism is a school of thought within the realm of psychology that has uh, sort of filtered down into the general consensus. If I can use a Jungian phrase, it's become part of the collective unconscious. It is the idea that suggests that we are what we are, we do what we do, we believe what we believe, because our environment conditioned us to do so. If you'd like a powerful illustration of what behaviorism might look like, I'd encourage you to take a look at the opening chapters of Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, where we see how different people in this futuristic culture are prepared for the lives and the work that they will do even before they're born. Through various and sundry mechanical means. Behaviorism goes back to the experiments of Pavlov, the Russian scientist who would ring the bell and feed the dog, and ring the bell and feed the dog, and ring the bell and feed the dog, and ring the bell, and the dog would have saliva, slobber, coming out, expecting to be fed. It became popular in the Western mind through the work of B.F. Skinner. B.F. Skinner was a genuine psychologist, but he was also sort of a media personality, sort of like Neil deGrasse Tyson or Carl Sagan. And he popularized this notion first through a book called Beyond Freedom and Dignity, and then through a novel called Walden 2. In that novel, we get a glimpse of what this ideology looks like at work. In Beyond Freedom and Dignity, we get a description of the ideology itself. Now, behaviorism is an all-in, if I can use a poker analogy, an all-in answer to an ancient question about whether we are what we are because of our nature or because of our nurture. It's all in on nurture. It takes the view essentially that you could take that we are, like John Locke would say, a blank slate, and that our environment writes on us, imprints upon us that which will shape our behavior. Now, let me highlight a couple of issues with behaviorism, one of which is found right in the title of the book that Skinner wrote first, popularizing it, Beyond Freedom and Dignity. This doesn't mean that it's not true, but this is an ideology that denies human freedom and human dignity. It makes of us puppets. Well, we could be puppets. That's why that's not sufficient to demonstrate that it's not true. But here's the problem. If it is true, we wouldn't be able to know it's true. There's never been a puppet on a string that was conscious of the strings, unless the puppet master wants him to be conscious of the strings. If we are shaped and formed by our environment, then we cannot reach the conclusion that we are shaped and formed by our environment unless our environment shapes and forms that idea in us. Let me put it another way. Mr. Skinner wrote books trying to persuade us rationally through our thinking that we don't reach conclusions on the basis of rational thought. It's absurd. It's self-contradictory. If it's true, we can't know that it's true. If it's true, there's no reason trying to persuade us that it's true. One last thing. No puppet can get outside of itself and become the puppet master. That is, if all people become what they become, believe what they believe because of their environment, then Mr. Skinner, Dr. Skinner, is in the exact same boat. The idea that you can step outside of humanity in order to control the environments of others is hopeless, because you too are a victim of your environment. Friends, don't buy into this. It's very popular. It's very common. It may not go by that name, but we live in a world where we blame ourselves on our environment. That's what makes it appealing, not because it's rational or coherent or scientific.